Well, thank you so much for having me. And you didn't even end by saying, and she's not even 100 years old. So thank you for the kind introduction. Today, I am very excited to talk with you all about how to unleash innovation when things are going south. We're going to cover three topics. The first slide. First and foremost, you have to remember it's always about the people. Next slide. And what my father taught me to do is challenge your crisis. Third slide. But most importantly, look for opportunities to partner. That is first and foremost one of the most important things you can do. So let's go to the full screen and we can have our conversation. How to unleash innovation when things are heading south. We've all been familiar with that, particularly during the last year. Sometimes when we're facing our greatest challenges, we discover amazing technologies or solutions, which not only guide us through the turmoil, but also become standard personal management tools. From teleconferencing, which took off after 9/11, to the rise of Zoom, Clubhouse, and the dominance of Amazon Prime throughout COVID, we discover new ways of working, solving problems, and engaging with others. Recognizing that working my way out of a box leads to creativity beyond my imagination, my personal frustration is that business and policymakers continue to go back to the old ways of working. They use the same models, they don't recognize their irrelevance in a changing environment, and they become less dependent, not more dependent when they should be, on multi-sectoral interdependencies, because that requires leveraging every asset we have. So in that moment when things are going south, having all of those interdependencies is actually a good thing because we need to work together. We need to identify ways forward. Other times, resources occur when people start throwing money at the problem, not realizing that you can actually accelerate opportunities by working your way out of a box. It helps to have wiggle room money, but that should be to up-level performance and platform efficiencies. It's important to remember that too much money is sometimes one of the biggest issues. It's not only that wealthy individuals and some CEOs throw money at the problem, but they also think the problem is easy and it can be solved by installing a person who's been successful in other roles and giving them lots of money to fix the problem. What they don't understand is that you are better off requiring people to work their way out of a problem with built-in constraints because you are confronting an effort that's completely unraveled. You have to break the organization or the project down, and then you have to put it back together again. The new version you create must be designed to live and breathe independently after you step away from it. If you're throwing money at the problem, you're not focused on fixing the problem. Instead, you're creating an even bigger problem through further investment as you continue to bet on new directions willy-nilly. When people put too much money into a failing situation, they're not forced to rank and rate the assets that they have in the activities and initiatives they engage in. Instead, they just extend them. Working your way out of a box forces you to prioritize. It forces you to make the hard decisions. If you make those hard decisions immediately, you are more protected during an economic downturn. You're better positioned in your organization to continue to grow and prosper in a sustainable fashion. Constantly challenging your assumptions and redirecting conversation to new modes of operation will increase our ability to evolve as a society. But remember, it's all about the people impacted by the work, the community, the customers, your employees. I have a passion to make a positive difference in people's lives by ensuring the programs I build are designed to be impactful, measurable, and sustainable, while allowing people to pivot and adjust to meet the challenges of the day. I believe this should be a goal for every person. No matter where you are in the totem pole, you can have impact. My personal mantra is leave a deliverable at every step you take. The things you build speak to your impact on the world around you. Let's talk about challenging your crisis. What I like about my dad's line, challenge your crisis, is it forces you to turn everything upside down and challenge all of your assumptions as you define your path forward, professionally and personally. No tweaking allowed. How many times do we end up saying, if I just did a little bit more of this or a little bit more of that, I'm going to be able to make it all work? But the reality is sometimes you need to rank and rate what's important. What do you keep and what do you let go? Other times, you actually may need to burn the whole structure down and start all over again. You have to go back to your roots and ask the why you started something in the first place. The speed of change increases daily. With new tech, global transportation, social media, the world's moving faster and faster through stages. The threats increase. New competitors, bad online reviews, 24/7 press cycle, transportation issues, the spread of a pandemic. Everything's happening at a faster rate. So people need to be flexible, pivot, and redefine success more quickly while focusing on the desired outcomes. The how you get there changes, although the desired outcome does not. With Moore's Law, we saw the speed of technological revolution increasing rapidly, so that CEOs were required to be able to focus and articulate the market definition 5 to 10 years in advance. Living in Silicon Valley, I learned that the obsession with Star Wars, Star Trek, The Matrix is innately within these tech geniuses because they know where they want to see the world go. They all want to figure out how to be the person who creates that warp drive. I mean, honestly, does Elon Musk consider himself the real life version of Tony Stark in the Marvel comic books? I think he does. And that's great because it brings innovation. Today, everyone needs to be nimble. How do you maintain process and functionality while constantly zig and zag between the lightning bolts that are headed your way? How do you assess others' mistakes and articulate a clear path forward that can get wins quickly and create forward momentum? Most importantly, how do you align incentives to change so partners are coordinating their spending across common goals? Because if you can deploy multiple dollars from different groups against a problem and work together to remove barriers, you can make big things happen. Partnership, investment in pre-competitive infrastructure, and sharing of data brought us vaccines in a record period of time. I have a book coming out in October in which I speak about turnarounds that I've executed in philanthropy, government, and business by combining the manufacturing processes I learned at Intel Corporation with the art of diplomacy I learned serving at the State Department and the White House. In the book, I highlight 4 basic steps in any turnaround. 1, visualize the future. 2, break down the present. 3, create a path from past into the future. And 4, execute with speed, confidence, agility, and heart. In each of these steps, an area I emphasize the most is the need for partnerships. You can't do it alone, nor should you. Recognize that each of us, as individuals and organizations, have areas in which we excel. But you can't be good at everything, and you can't be all things to all people. So finding individuals whose goals align with yours are perfect partners to accelerate progress. The bottom line is if you want to turn around your future, look for opportunities to partner. Everything in life is a competition. We compete for resources, people, money, and for a voice in the conversation. However, we also recognize we are stronger through our associations. The commitment to strengthening and building partnerships that embrace common values was integrated into each step outlined in the Carbis Bay G7 Summit Communique. It reads in part, "We will develop a new partnership to build back better for the world through a step change in our approach to investment. We will harness the power of democracy, freedom, equality, the rule of law, and respect for human rights to answer the biggest questions and overcome the greatest challenges." As leaders in the post-pandemic world, linking arms and leveraging resources to achieve common goals is a requirement. For me as a nonprofit CEO, winning every moment, that's not my priority, but I do care greatly about ensuring the people who work with me And those in the food allergy community have a seat at the table and the opportunity to win. My consistent goal is to change the terms of the debate in such a way that we can influence public conversation and use it to drive innovation that has a societal benefit for not only our community, but for others with adjacent interests and needs. I cheer our team on when they earn an award signaling the recognition of their good work, that they've shifted the conversation forward, and when they're highlighted as thought leaders who are rolling up their sleeves to identify solutions to achieve the common good. But I also recognize the need for partners to deliver on our promises. The UN Sustainable Development Goals encourage a process of collaboration against mutually beneficial outcomes. At FAIR, the world's largest NGO funding food allergy research and education, our ongoing success will be based greatly on how we align our goals with others who are seeking dynamic partners to solve complex problems. A key area of focus is maximizing relationships that help create an ecosystem to address systemic racism and health disparities and ensure treatment and care are available to the most vulnerable of patients. We're creating domains of change first in the United States, but we're seeking country-based partners that support accurate and accessible diagnosis, as over 500 million people worldwide have food allergies, a disease that can be life-threatening, but can also make it difficult to manage daily life without financial flexibility and resources. FAIR and our partners understand that we need to collect actionable data that can be shared to affect and achieve real change. This allows us to set priorities and strategically target investments on the modification of existing processes. Global partnerships bring a unique perspective, but they also reinforce the need to see the world from our partners' point of view. Listen to them, understand what the partner cares about, couch your language in their vocabulary to show you respect their position, and use my 60-40 rule. If you agree with someone 60% of the time, trust that you can agree to set aside the 40% you disagree with and find a path forward. Focus on the areas where you agree today and place issues in which you disagree in a parking lot for future discussion. But most importantly, support reverse mentoring, as you may be the larger, more resourced partner, but your community partner can mentor you. They can guide you on the most effective deployment of limited resources to achieve the greatest results. In the health and wellness space, I engaged with 16 food and beverage companies to reduce 6.4 trillion calories from the food supply in the United States. We reduced calories in 35% of the food sold in the United States. In the prevention space, FAIR and Northwestern University worked together in an effort called Text for Baby to allow us to create a secondary platform to educate new parents about the need to introduce allergens to the baby to prevent the rise of allergies. In each of these examples, each partner's best-of-class ability was leveraged to make a difference. To achieve the success from any partnership, lead with confidence and diplomacy. Look for partners who exhibit 5 characteristics. 1, generosity of spirit and a willingness to identify clear boundaries. 2, a collaborative culture and a desire to celebrate collective wins. 3, purpose-driven design combined with a process-driven approach. 4, humility, complemented by a sense of strength and positivity. And 5, commitment to a multi-year relationship guided by results-driven actions against agreed-upon milestones. Great executives and political leaders leave their egos behind and reach out to others to help them achieve success. To accelerate speed and achieve your next organizational evolution, make sure you stay grounded and show gratitude for everyone who helps you on the journey. It will help you pull off your turnaround today and many more in the future. I've looked forward greatly to this conference because I believe that the people present today are those who believe in these principles, and I hope I have an opportunity to partner with each and every one of you to solve some of the world's complex problems as we emerge from this pandemic. So thank you very much for your time, and I'm happy to take questions if we have time or move immediately into our panel.